recent report on in Yemen. I mean, migrants coming from the Horn of Africa, crossing through Yemen to go to Saudi Arabia, kidnapped at the border by bandits, tortured to terrorize their families into a horror show. North Korea, a horror show. Uzbekistan, U.S. ally, a horror show. Places that torture exists with seeming impunity. And speaking of impunity, the U.S. still can't come to terms with our own torture that we commit here in the United States, whether as an actual policy under the Bush administration or as a byproduct of solitary confinement. The UN did not make this a date for speaking out, to talk about how hateful torture is. Because if you really get into that conversation, it's very discouraging. What they did was they made it a moment to recognize the survivors, the people who have been on the pointy end of this. And I think that's where the inspiration comes for this movement. And where do we find that inspiration is in places like the Program for Torture Victims. The work that you guys do, working directly with the survivors to help them rebuild their lives. And the rest of us can look to that experience and really draw inspiration for what we see is going to be the long-term project. On this International Day of Support for Survivors, we ask everybody to stand together in solidarity with them. I'd like to make a special call to everybody to get your friends involved. Whether it's through PTV or through the Interfaith Group or Human Rights Watch, but get your friends involved. Because really the next step is calling on our public officials to oppose torture, and not just with their words, but how about some criminal prosecutions? That's a very specific step to start to bring in some accountability to this problem, whether that's in the United States, or whether that's in the growing body of convictions we're seeing in international tribunals. So thank you so much for coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's a gorgeous day. Really happy to be here, and find it in your heart to carry this fight forward, equally determined, so when we see each other next year, we'll be twice as many